Well, it's been a while, but here we are, ladies and gentlemen. A very good day to you, depending on whichever place and time you're watching us from. Definitely, this is another episode of the Candy Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Such a pleasure to have you on board. Definitely, when I say it's a pleasure, I mean it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm here with Professor Herman Manyora. How are you, sir?
I'm okay. Good, okay.
I can see we're back in Nairobi, and of course the weather is a little bit chill. That's why today we have to come and shoot inside here.
But I can see from outside it's already changing.
It's already changing.
Correct.
But of course the fireplace here, when I came here in the morning, it was a little bit chilly, and I thought that perhaps the old man may not manage to...
Old man or you.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, we are here, Prof. Let's refocus and look at what actually took place. We've had this event that took place in the country. Of course, I watched your conversation with General Kabiro on the same. The entire Africa was in Nairobi to look at the African Climate Summit therein. And I want us to look at the hits and misses therein. Was it a success for you, or then how do you view the entire kind of process?
From an organizational point of view, it is quite a success.
Okay.
And I really laud the President of the Republic of Kenya and the CS in charge. To a period, I can't remember her name, this Maasai lady.
So you can't wear there?
Yes, it was well done, and the people, the entire team, it was wonderful.
Okay.
We did not get embarrassed the way we normally get embarrassed when we have chances like this. So this was well done from an organizational point of view.
Okay.
As far as the really challenges the conference or the summit was to address is concerned, I very much doubt. I don't think it will be different from others that have come before it and that will come after it. For example, there will be one COP28 in Japan next time. I don't know whether it's next year. They're just talking. They don't go beyond talking. Yes.
There are a number of critics who've talked, and they're saying here that the Nairobi Declaration was heavily influenced by the West, and they're saying that we did not actually bring in African solutions to African problems. Do you still buy that kind of idea that there could be a lot of influence from outside the continent?
You know what? If you look at climate in terms of its broad understanding, there are small things we should be able to do that should mitigate the climate. That includes environmental degradation and even just things like pollution. So there are many simple things we can do to mitigate climate disasters. Like just ensuring we do not cut our trees anyhow. That ensuring we keep the soils where they should be and small things like those, and clean environment. If we can't do that, do we need a conference to come and tell us Nairobi is a dirty, rotten city that is choking the rivers? Do we need a summit to tell us people should not pump effluent into the river? Rivers that pass Nairobi. Do we need somebody to come and tell us that? So there are many things we can do on our own.
Are you trying there to say that in as far as the summit was a success for you in terms of its organization?
Organization was okay.
But then its purpose here, its logic, that's what you're saying?
In fact,
so it was unnecessary.
When people take an opportunity like that to beg, they are saying, we are suffering and we shall be paying dearly for disaster that is awaiting us in terms of climate. And the change of disasters. Give us money to mitigate. Why are you begging for money? What is it you've tried to do that you could not do with your own money? And what does the understanding? I was replying to a tweet from Time magazine, and I was saying, look here, they are talking of, I don't know how many billions of dollars required to mitigate climate disaster in Africa. And they are saying it is a mere 2% of the amount given to the West. Forget about the meager amount. That costing is done by the West. We don't need those billions of dollars to go green. No, we don't need. The sun is just here with us. Who tells you we need billions of dollars to tap into the sun, energy of the sun? Who tells you? These are things that can be done by college students. Not even university students, these colleges, you call them TVETs, or first year university students. I was somewhere, I don't know where it was, I can't remember where, and an international trade fair in some country I was. And I went there and I was surprised. There are so many things that are designed to tap into the energy, solar energy, including the one that I like most, looking like an umbrella or like a chair of this nature. And now this part of the thing, a little extended, is like a solar panel. Then where I'm seated now is a place where now is like the banner itself. So a woman keeps githeri there, beans and maize, and goes to the shamba. She'll come back, githeri is ready.
Okay.
Simple things like those. You don't need those billions. So I agree with you. It is things are seen and conceived and designed by the West. At the end of the day, even tapping into green energy like wind, like geothermal, like the sun, they will tell us we need trillions of dollars, which they will lend us for us to remain indebted. Yet we could have just exploited these things in a very simple way. Yeah.
Talk to me about the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua's sentiments immediately that kind of summit came to a closure. Of course, the President left to attend another event in Tanzania, our neighboring country here. But of course, the Deputy President came forth and said, now you see, the entire Africa recognizes that the legitimacy of the President, and they recognize President William Ruto as the leader of this country and one who can actually lead Africa and champion for the interests of the continent. So should you definitely telling the opposition, throwing those tassels therein. I wonder whether the Deputy President was now trying to play that kind of political card and bring it in on board and tell them, look, you guys, this is the president.
He's spoiling a good thing. This conference, we have said, was well organized. The President represented us well. He made us proud. And I'm repeating this. President Ruto made Kenyans proud during this summit. Why is Gachagua spoiling it? Why is he bringing in cheap politics? Why? In such a successful thing. Secondly, who tells Gachagua the president must be appreciated by outside? And I've tweeted and I've told him. The president must first be respected by Kenyans and appreciated by Kenyans. Only then can outside appreciation and respect have a basis and a foundation. Yeah.
Talk to me about that respect from the Kenyans, the ones that you're saying. Typically, if you look at this country right now, as the president, has he achieved that kind of respect, the national respect from all over the country?
That's why people have been in the streets. They have not. He has not done enough to earn the trust and respect of Kenyans. At least almost half of Kenyans. That's the truth. And people like us must tell the president, you are a good man and we love you so much. And we want you to continue being president until 2027 and beyond if necessary. But you must go out of your way and bring Kenyans together. There are millions of Kenyans who believe this election was stolen. What do you have to tell them? Are the insults from people like Gachagua going to help? Certainly not. So you must re-engineer your politics, including your mode of communication, so that you bring these people and they heal together and bond together with the rest of the world, or the rest of Kenyans. That way, we will be proud of our president, all of us, will respect and appreciate him. And when foreigners join us in appreciating and respecting our president, it will just be an icing on the cake. Yes.
So Gachagua talks.
So I don't know what the Gachagua is icing. There's no cake to ice.
But he's here. He's actually saying.
Tell Gachagua there's no cake. We need to have the cake. Then those accolades, the respect from foreigners will be the icing on the cake. The cake is the respect Kenyans will give their president. Sadly, as we speak, a disturbing number of Kenyans would not be said to be respecting the president. Yeah.
So therefore, you do not buy that kind of. But I think this is the same.
So this cake is not well. The cake is not even cooked. It is even when you look at it, you can't touch it. Even that ice can't hold on it. Yeah. So
but he's saying here, look here, the rest of Africa recognizes Ruto's presidency. So should you. That's what he tells them. But anyway, a number of people have been asking, why is the Gachagua all of a sudden so rousy about the president, giving him praises all over, even when the praises are unnecessary, like you're saying here right now?
It's a Kenyan disease. It's a Kenyan problem where we think we are doing very good for our leader when we sing praises. And I think that sort of approach is what led Africa to where we are. The missed opportunities, the squandered opportunities. Instead of working together with Jomo Kenyatta, Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, and Kenneth Kaunda, Abdel Nasser, and all those founding fathers of this country, of this continent, instead of working with them, we started to deify them, glorify them, Muze, Mutukufu, and all sorts of names. Somebody has put those names in a book. I think it is Aikweyama in one of his books, I think. Something, I think 2006, I can't remember well. We sang their praises instead of working with them together. And Jomo Kenyatta told us, muko nyuma yangu, munafanya nini nyuma yangu? Tuko bega kwa bega. Even when Kenyatta said that, we didn't take the challenge. We remained behind him and singing his praises. And you know what could happen if you are behind somebody. Yes.
Okay. Now let's look at what Gachagua said and put it into context. Do you think that the president has positioned himself as one of those leaders who can actually speak for Africans, right?
Certainly. From Uhuru Kenyatta to Ruto, these fellows have stood tall among their peers on the continent. You cannot imagine how excited and how proud I was to be a Kenyan when I saw Uhuru Kenyatta standing there with President, there was a president in America, I don't know who it was. It wasn't Trump. Before Trump it was?
Before Trump it was Barack
Obama.
Obama, yeah.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Obama. I think it was Trump or somebody. I could see Uhuru there. And when Obama came here, you saw? Eyebrow to eyebrow. Obama is saying this, Uhuru is telling him no. On those other things of yours. I felt so proud. So even when you see when Ruto is in some of these international forums, he makes you feel proud to be a Kenyan. But certainly, that cannot replace what you need to do. What needs to be done must be done. People will tell you we cannot eat that name. We need food. Mokimo, Githeri, Usuma, and so on and so forth. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I get you. Finally, the president has been talking over not actually depending on borrowing. He said very well that we cannot actually finance our budgets solely on borrowing, and therefore we must cut on borrowing. That is something that is preached all along. But then something came out of that summit, and we had a number of Africans talking of the reshading of all this borrowing structure, the lending structure and all that, and people are asking, why would you be begging these people and telling them to at least ease in the terms of borrowing? Yet you said that you aren't supposed to be surviving on that. Does it amount to double
contradictions? And a beggar has no choice. You'll be given loans, whether you like it or not. They'll be forced on you at the interest rate and the terms they give you. You have no choice because you are beggars. And because the little you are given, you squander. You don't even use it for anything meaningful. You squander. And those foreigners who give you, design those loans and aid in such a manner, a big chunk of that money goes back to them. You know, you've read Lords of Poverty. It goes back to them. They help you squander it. So the money does very little. The roads you construct can't last 2 rain seasons. You get what I'm saying? So these beggars have no choice. And then to say, let us have an architecture that brings equality. Which one? How? Since when did a lion sit with a zebra in a committee to decide how they live in the jungle? In this jungle, in this international jungle, we are the zebra to be eaten by the lions from the west. And you can't change it. The only way to change is to break away. But while still within that arrangement, within that ecosystem of international trade, my friend, you'll be on the receiving end. You'll be holding the short end of the... Never. There will be no measures from IMF that will see an African country develop. The World Bank will not assist you to grow. Because if Africa grew, the West will collapse. And that's how the world has been over. The day Africa will rise above the West will collapse. They will not allow you. Not consciously.
Okay.
You'd fight for it.
One of the most notable, finally, one of the most notable absentees from this summit was our neighboring president here, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He was a no-show in that kind of summit, and a number of people have raised questions. Why would the president of just a country that neighbors is here fail to attend? People have been asking a lot of questions about Museveni's absence.
The answer is simple. He's preparing for his birthday. You see, the streets in Kampala have been swept clean. The streets are going to be closed. I don't know when the birthday was, it today or when. The streets will be closed to traffic. And they have been swept clean. How would you expect a man like that to come here and is preparing for his birthday?
Do you think that for Museveni, his birthday could be more important than the summit?
Of course. Why not? Why not?
A number of people are also saying that perhaps...
You know, when you grow old, you become like a child. You know, birthdays are for children. You can't expect somebody to celebrate my birthday. But in the next 2 years, I'll be celebrating. Because now, nakuwa nimeingia hiyo age ya utoto sasa. So Museveni ameingia age ya utoto. Sasa anaanza kufurahia birthday. Hata mimi nitaanza. So mtu anafurahia birthday up to around form 1, form 2. After that, if you still do birthday, you are a child. So you stop doing birthdays until again you enter the next phase where ni mtoto. So Museveni is at that age where I'm almost getting, and a few years from now, again I'll begin celebrating my birthday. We are becoming children now.
But I wonder whether just a single day would actually cost Museveni celebrations there. But then a number of critics are also saying that perhaps his kind of foreign policy, like how he relates with the West right now, is a complete departure from how the rest of Africans do relate, and that could be responsible for the manner in which he behaves.
Of course, there are a few things. There are issues in Uganda, and we don't want to go there. And he may not be, people may not be comfortable with him. And some people could even have perhaps said, well, if Museveni is coming, we are not coming. You never know. It's possible. Yeah. Right now, they want to make sure that Museveni view of things does not become contagious.
Okay. Let's leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. Please do weigh in on this conversation here about the African Climate Summit, and of course the Nairobi Declaration that we just witnessed in this country. Of course, that is one of the continental events that took place in this nation. Remember, our team is always on the ground. We are keeping tabs on everything taking place in this country, and we'll keep you up to date with comprehensive analysis of the same. My name is Evan Sokenyi. Such a pleasure to have you on board. Till we meet again, have yourself a very lovely day.